Hello everyone, welcome back to my Let's Replay channel. Once again, this is Andrew T coming at you with our vlog review of Zigfrak and of Death Road to Canada. As always, I'll start with the first game I played, which was Death Road to Canada. And this is a pixelated game, roguelite, zombie apocalypse survival. Now, that can mean a lot of things, especially with the open world zombie survival games going on right now. But this is basically a top-down 2D where you're just getting in your car and trying to drive to Canada from Florida. So what happens between the destinations, though, makes up the bulk of the game, as it would. Because once you get to Canada, game's over. I think. I haven't actually beat the game yet. But this was a fun little game you could just pick up, play, and just have fun with all the different kind of scenarios you get into. So you get in your car. You usually have one other person with you. You find different locations that you stop at, random events, encounters, people. You know, very roguelite-ish. So, on those things, though, the writing is very good. It's very humorous. It's very up my alley, and when it comes to the gameplay aspects of it. Plus, it's really easy to kind of pick up and play because the controls are very, very simple. So you have two buttons to basically pick up stuff, and then swing your weapon or shoot your gun or whatever the case may be, or get in your car, move your car, stuff like that. So it has all the classic, RPG tropes of, bartering, health, leveling up certain skills, things like that. And it has the roguelite elements of random encounters and random things, you pick up on every playthrough. So I thought it was very enjoyable, very fun from the get-go. So even when the first one where I had no idea what the buttons even did, once I did, I was like, oh, I got it, just Z and X. So going through is definitely a ton of fun, and the options they give you, they're updating the options and the stuff that can happen to you all the time. So you're never quite bored with it. You can always go through. It's not quite Binding of Isaac with terms of all the stuff they throw at you so far, but it's definitely trying to be like it, and just the amount of stuff that it can throw at you, and the stuff and the options and combinations you can get into. So graphics are what you'd expect from an indie developer. The gameplay is tight though. The zombies act like you expect them to act. They do get harder and more, what's the word I'm looking for, robust as you go on in the game. So the further you get to Canada, the harder the zombies get to kill. So it's not just the same zombies over and over again, so you can't use the same tactics or the same weapons over and over again. Mostly because the weapons do eventually break. So you're going to have to scrounge and scavenge all the time, trying to find weapons that'll last you, and what you can use on certain encounters. You can store them too. So it's not like you just have to carry like 3 weapons and be like, alright, I'm going to use this one, or I'm going to use this gun or that gun. It may not be the best idea to use a gun because you may have limited ammo for it. Anyway, I like the game. I do. So, but the review score I'm going to have to give is going to have to be everything in a whole for the replay value, how much it was, everything that goes along into it. So if I had to give it a score, I'd have to say around a 6 out of 10, because it is above average. The graphics are subpar. But for the price you're paying for it, it's about right. Plus, the replayability is definitely high. But sometimes you do get that random number generator that's just like, oh, you got nothing in this first rest stop but a twig, and that broke, and then you ran out of food, and the one you picked up, it now has any mechanical skills. So, that does happen every once in a while. But for the price, the graphics, the humor on it, the massive updates, I definitely say if it's on sale, pick it up, or if you have the money to just have something like an FTL or a game you just pick up and put down at ease when you don't have a whole lot of time, this is definitely a game that I would recommend for those reasons. Anyway, getting on to our second game, Zigfrak. I had high expectations of this, depending on the Steam page, but I can honestly say that after the video, I played about another hour, and I was very disappointed in the gameplay at that point, because even though they were trying to be very humorous in the mission setups, even in the tutorials, it was like, okay, I kind of get it, but when it came to the actual gameplay of it, actually going out and firing and, it gives you the option to use one weapon to fire at people, but when you use spacebar, which you pretty much have to do to fire everything, you don't know what the heck is going on the other end of your reticle. Because, as you can see, my face, let's just say my nose is the ship you're shooting at. And then, when you fire, my entire head would be the glare that comes back at your screen whenever you're trying to attack these people, no matter how close or far away you are at. So, you're just literally looking at numbers going off, knowing not one thing what they do. This game would be very good at having a manual and saying, okay, what do these weapons do? What kind of damage do they do? Why is it good or better than any of this other damage? And the recovery option is pretty stupid from what I can see, because, oh, my ship's dead, I'll just hold down R. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why does it not? It does so. I don't really get a feeling that it matters if you die or if your ship gets, damaged. I don't get a feeling that it matters what kind of weapons you have in there, just as long as you spam the space bar and fire everything, and then just keep the reticle on them. And then the loot, I don't even know what to say about the loot, because the first hour I played, I still haven't got to that point in the freaking tutorial to say, hey, this is what the loot does, this is what that does. And when you're an hour in, and they haven't got to the most important aspect of their game, according to them on their Steam page, it doesn't bode well. So I immediately put in for a Steam refund. It was $7.99, I believe, so it's not exactly, a ton of money coming back to me, but I do feel that this was not the kind of game that I thought it was going to be when I picked it up on Steam. Even though the reviews were fairly good, there were other ones that were fairly bad as well, even though the majority of them were positive. So I have to feel that for the space sim, it doesn't do a bad job. It uses momentum and not gravity, but it uses momentum and actual space flight mechanics pretty well. But the way that it uses the mouse to hold down the left mouse button in order to track your reticle anywhere, otherwise you're just looking around your own HUD, I don't get that. I don't agree with that as a design point. But it was very frustrating whenever I'm trying to follow an enemy and all of a sudden I, lift up on the mouse and all of a sudden he goes off my screen. I'm like, oh gosh, gotta hold it down. And then hold down the spacebar to fire. It is counterintuitive. The options for everything else, it's a mess for the user interface when it comes to all the pop-ups. Like, oh, you have a mission. I'm like, okay, and then, oh, the mission needs to be turned in. Well, how do I know that? Oh, you actually have to click inside the message. You can't just, do the thing that they want you to do. You have to click on the message to either turn it in or to confirm, or sometimes even to talk. I'm like, it'd be nice if it was like flashing or had an arrow pointing to it or something to let me know. But everything is pretty much trial and error in this game, even through the tutorial. So, if I have to give it a grade, I have to give it a 4. Just for even though it is less than $10. The graphics are decent. The writing's okay. They're trying to different take on the humor of it. But when it comes to just the gameplay and the core mechanics of the game that are supposed to keep coming back, it is not there. Like, the space battles aren't fun. There's no sense of urgency because you just repair your ship and hold down R for like 3 seconds in order to get back in the fight. There's the loot I didn't even get a chance to see, and I honestly didn't care at that point. I picked up so much of it and credits and everything else that an hour in, I'm still doing these missions. I'm like, what am I getting credits for? What am I buying? What kind of loot is going to make my ship better or worse? And I got my first mission where I could actually choose a reward. They had 5 different guns. I could choose 2 of them. I had no idea what made these guns better or worse than the guns I already had, so I didn't even bother trying to install them, because I figured there was no need, because I'm just killing everything as I am right now. And the way that they have the loot on there, I don't know if it's better or worse than what I even have, or what the benefits are. So, yeah, definitely a 4 out of 10. Just for the fact that it's, even though I try to stick through it, I love space sim shooters, especially ones that have, RPG elements or loot, things like that. It sounded like a good idea. just not well executed. So I cannot recommend picking up this game. If they fix the glare and fix the tutorial, and it looks like they did a lot of work on the tutorial, but it looks like they did a lot of work on the tutorial without actually going through it and finding out, oh wait, if it's over an hour long, maybe it's not a tutorial. So those are my reviews for this week. Just like last week, I have no idea what I'm going to be playing the next week. I finally beat Dragon Age Origins, the original story. Now I'm just going through all the other campaigns, and I'm at the third one out of like 6 right now. So hopefully I'll get some more room on my PC to do a little bit longer playthroughs next time with a little bit better games. But as always, thank y'all so much for watching, and y'all have a good one.